Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're going to be doing a heroic deck profile. So I'm really excited to see you guys because this deck is a super fun OTK deck that can summon out one of the coolest boss monsters in the game. Heroic Champion Clave Solus, which gets absolutely massive to OTK the opponent. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description for every single video, getting a signed card in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Heroic Challenger Assault Halberd. Assault Halberd is a great 3-of in the deck that's basically the Cyber Dragon of the deck. And if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. This card also inflicts piercing damage when attacking a defense position monster and has a super cool search effect that when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can add a heroic card from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect. This deck focuses on getting 2 level 4 monsters on your side of the field, so you can make your copy of Clave Solus, and when this card's special summoning itself to your side of the field, it makes it really easy to do that. We then play 3 copies of Heroic Challenger Thousand Blades. Thousand Blades is really good as a 3-of in the deck because it has the ability to once per turn. If this card is in attack position, you can discard a heroic card, and you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except heroic monsters. Also, you special summon a heroic monster from your deck. And if you do, change this card to defense position, which is an awesome effect to instantly get 2 level 4 monsters on your side of the field, so you can make your copy of Clave Solus and go in for game. This card also has a great effect that when you take damage, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card in attack position, and you can only use this effect of this card once per turn. We then play 3 copies of Morningstar. Morningstar is the card you're usually summoning off your copy of Thousand Blade if you don't already have it in your hand, because this card is absolutely insane. If you control 2 or more warrior monsters, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a heroic spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to search out your copy of your Heroic Chance to be able to double the attack points of your Clave Solus. This card also has the ability that if your hand, or if this card's in the graveyard and your life points are 500 or less, you can special summon this card but negate its effects. And you can only use the effect of this card once per turn, but that's a great effect to instantly get this card back on the field. We then play 3 copies of Heroic Challenger Knuckle Sword. Knuckle Sword is a great card to be able to play as a 3-of in the deck because it actually special summons itself to your side of the field if you control a heroic monster except a level 1 monster, and which is really cool to just instantly get this card on the field. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can target one of their warrior monsters you control with a level, and the level of but one of the 2 monsters becomes the other level, which is really cool. So basically you can either get 2 level 1s on the field or you can get 2 level 4s on the field, which is really cool because one copies the other level, which is great about this card. We then play a single copy of Heroic Challenger Extra Sword. Extra Sword is really good because a XZ monster that uses this card as a material gains 1,000 attack points, which is really cool to summon out your copy of Clave Solus with 3,500 attack points. We then play 2 copies of Goblinberg. Goblinberg just helps us get an additional monster on the field, because when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand. Also after that, change this card in defense position, which is a great effect just to get you 2 level 4s on the field. We then play 2 copies of Blue Mountain Butter Spy. Butter Spy is a really good 2 of the deck because it cannot be normal summoned or set, but when you normal summon a warrior monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which can chain block some of your monsters, which is really good. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda's just really good in the deck overall to be able to search out any of your heroic monsters that you need from your deck. We then play a single copy of Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing is just really good in the deck. Usually you're just going for Clave Solus, but this card is really good to be able to use in the deck as well, because it can get you a copy of Utopia Double to come out absolutely massive. Because the way you basically use this card is you summon out Utopia Double, you detach a material off the copy of Utopia Double, summon out a copy of Utopia, Utopia at 5,000 attack points, while also searching this card from the deck. You can then attack into the opponent's monster and negate the attack with your copy of Utopia, dropping this card from your hand to boost your copy of Utopia up by double to go to 10,000 attack points. The only downside is your monster cannot attack directly when summoned with your copy of Utopia double, which is not that big of a deal because you're basically just using this card to OTK the opponent. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is just really good overall in the deck to be able to stop your opponent's hand traps while you're going in for the OTK. We're then playing two extremely spicy tech cards, and I'm actually going to play face down, and we're going to play Guess That Card. So I'm going to get you guys to comment down below what you think this particular tech card is, and it's a really spicy 2-of that I'm playing in the deck. So we're going to reveal that card in 3, 2, 1, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely hit the bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad. So that really spicy 2-of in this particular deck is a really old school card, and it's actually 2 copies of Megamorph. Megamorph is really neat in this deck and just a really cool equip spell because while your life points are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster's attack becomes double its original attack, and then when your life points are higher than your opponent's, the equipped monster's attack is cut in half. Which is not that big of a deal because usually with this particular deck, we're trying to get our life points down to 500 and then OTK the opponent, which is really cool that this deck actually plays the copies of Megamorph because it can make your copy of Clave Solus go up to 5,000 because it doubles the original attack of the monster. We then play a single copy of Instant Fusion and 2 copies of Ready Fusion. This card is so that we can get another level 4 warrior monster on our side of the field, or with our copy of Instant Fusion, we can almost use this card like a copy of Called by the Grave because we can actually summon out Millenniumizer Strict to our side of the field just to give us a little bit of protection while we're going in for the OTK. We're then playing 3 copies of Heroic Chance. Heroic Chance is really cool in the deck because it lets you target a face-up heroic monster you control, and this turn double the attack of that monster, but it can't attack your opponent directly. But that's really cool to be able to use it with your copy of Clave Solus to be able to just double the attack of Clave Solus, and then Clave Solus will actually double its attack again to make it 10,000 attack points, which is super cool. I've got copies of Clave Solus all the way up to 20 to 40,000 with this particular deck, and it's absolutely insane how massive you can get that monster. We then play 3 copies of Heroic Envy. Heroic Envy is really cool, and it's actually the Rhoda for the deck. It lets you add a heroic monster from your deck to your hand, and if your life points are 500 or less, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target a heroic card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is an awesome effect for this card to have. We then play 3 copies of Heroic Call. Heroic Call is really neat because it's basically like a monster reborn, because it lets you special summon a warrior monster from your hand or grave. But if you special summon a non-heroic monster, by this effect you negate the effect. Also, it can't attack. And if your life points are 500 or less, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then target one face-up monster that you control, and it gains 500 attack for each heroic card that you currently control, and for each heroic card attached to it as an XZ monster that you currently control, which is a really cool effect to be able to use to get your copy of Clave Solus even bigger with this particular deck. We then play 3 copies of Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm is really cool in this particular deck to be able to just board wipe your opponent so that you can go in, especially being able to pop all their back row so that you usually know it's safe to be able to go in for the OTK. We then play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Forbidden Droplets is just really good in this particular deck to be able to negate cards on the field, and it's just really good in the deck because all we really need is 2 level 4 monsters to go in for the OTK, and this card is really helpful being able to use those other cards that are in our hand to be able to negate cards and also half the attack of opponent's cards, which is really nice. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Clave Solus. Usually you're only going to need a single copy of this card, and once this card touches the field, you've pretty much won the game if it goes off. But this card is really cool because your opponent cannot target monsters for attacks except this one. And you can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn, and you can pay life points so that you only have 500 left at the start of the battle phase. This turn, double the attack of one monster that you control, which is always going going to be this card that you're usually targeting with that effect to be able to double its attack. And when an attack is declared involving your opponent's monster, you can detach a material from this card, target one face-up monster to your opponent controls, and this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack until the end of the turn, making this card get absolutely massive, making it super easy to OTK the opponent. We then play a single copy of Excalibur. Excalibur is really good for this deck because it doubles its own attack, which is really good. Play a single copy of Gondiva. Gondiva is really good as a 1-of in this particular deck, because once per turn, when a level 4 or lower monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you can detach a material from this card and destroy that special summon monster. We then play a single copy of the rank 1 Heroic Champion. This card comes in handy every so often, and you make it with your copy of Knuckle Swords effect to make 2 level 1s on the field. It's a pretty good 1-of in the deck, but you only really need a single copy of this card. We play a single copy of number 60, because every so often I do like to double the attack of Clave Souls again, which is really cool about this deck. I've got it up to ×8 or even ×16 with your copies of this card, your copy of Megamorph, and your copies of Heroic Chance. You can get Clave Souls absolutely massive, which is really cool. But this card is really cool because it has the ability that during your draw, or you can basically draw 2 and discard 1. You can use this card as a monster reborn, or you can double the attack of monster. Usually I'm using in this particular deck the double attack of monster, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Utopia Double. Utopia Double is really cool because you just detach a material from this card, search double or nothing, and then put a copy of Utopia on top of it. Once you put that copy of Utopia on top of it, it will come out at 5,000 attack points. You can then attack into the opponent with a copy of Utopia into a monster only, not directly, detach material off of it, and then drop double or nothing to attack again for 10,000, which is really neat. We then play a single copy of number 41, just in case we need to wait it out until we can OTK the opponent. One copy of Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon helps us go in by popping spells and traps, which is really cool. Play a single copy of F-Zero and a copy of F-Zero Utopic Draco Future, because we play quite a few monsters that actually don't have numbers, which the only number monsters that we play in this particular deck is Baguska, Utopia, and the copy of number 60. So we have a bunch of different monsters in the particular build that we can actually use to make our copy of F-Zero, and then make a copy of Draco Future to give us a negate on the field. We then play a single copy of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is just really good in any XZ deck, and this card is really good at making Zeus. Play a second copy of Carbonala Warrior, which is actually what we summon off of instant or ready fusion to give us another warrior monster on the field. And then finally a Millenniumizer Strict to be able to summon off the copy of instant fusion just to give us a little bit of protection. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Heroic before, you definitely should give the deck a try. It's very budget to pick up, which is really nice, and it's super fun to be able to just summon Clave Solus and go in for game. It's a really, really fun deck. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.